Welcome to our video on the Age of Mercantilism, Europe's economic expansion. In this video, we will explore the economic system that dominated Europe during the 16th to 18th centuries, known as mercantilism. Mercantilism was a set of economic policies that aimed to increase a nation's wealth and power by maximizing exports and minimizing imports. It was based on the belief that a nation's wealth was measured by its stock of precious metals, such as gold and silver. During this period, European nations competed fiercely for colonies and trade routes, and mercantilism became the dominant economic system. It had a profound impact on European economies, politics, and society, shaping the course of history. In this segment, we will explore the origins of mercantilism and how it became the dominant economic system in Europe. The origins of mercantilism can be traced back to the late Middle Ages, when European nations began to expand their trade networks and establish colonies in the New World. During this period, European nations such as Spain, Portugal, and England sought to control the trade routes and monopolize the trade of valuable commodities such as spices, silk, and precious metals. They also established colonies in the New World to extract resources such as gold, silver, and tobacco. As trade and colonization expanded, European nations began to develop economic policies that would maximize their profits and minimize their expenses. This led to the development of mercantilism, which emphasized the importance of exports over imports and the accumulation of precious metals. Mercantilism also promoted the idea of economic self-sufficiency, where nations would produce as much as possible within their own borders and minimize their dependence on foreign goods. This led to the development of industries such as textiles, shipbuilding, and agriculture, which were protected by tariffs and subsidies. In the next segment, we will explore how mercantilism impacted European economies and society. Mercantilism had a profound impact on European economies and society. It led to the growth of industries, the expansion of trade, and the accumulation of wealth. However, it also had negative consequences, such as the exploitation of colonies and the suppression of free trade. One of the key features of mercantilism was the emphasis on exports over imports. This led to the growth of industries such as textiles, shipbuilding, and agriculture, which were protected by tariffs and subsidies. This created jobs and stimulated economic growth, but it also led to the suppression of free trade and the exploitation of colonies. European nations established colonies in the New World to extract resources such as gold, silver, and tobacco. These resources were then shipped back to Europe and used to finance the growth of industries and the expansion of trade. However, this led to the exploitation of indigenous peoples and the destruction of their cultures. Mercantilism also had a significant impact on European society. It led to the growth of a merchant class, which became increasingly wealthy and powerful. This class played a key role in the development of capitalism and the rise of the modern economy. In the next segment, we will explore the decline of mercantilism and the rise of free trade. The decline of mercantilism began in the late 18th century as European nations began to adopt more liberal economic policies. This was due in part to the influence of Enlightenment thinkers, who argued for the importance of individual freedom and free trade. One of the key figures in the rise of free trade was Adam Smith, who published his influential book, The Wealth of Nations, in 1776. Smith argued that free trade would lead to greater prosperity and economic growth, and that government intervention in the economy should be limited. This led to the gradual dismantling of mercantilist policies, such as tariffs and subsidies, and the adoption of free trade policies. This allowed for greater competition and innovation, and led to the growth of industries such as manufacturing and finance. The decline of mercantilism also had a significant impact on European politics and society. It led to the rise of liberal democracy and the growth of individual rights and freedoms. It also paved the way for the Industrial Revolution, which transformed European economies and society. In the final segment, we will explore the legacy of mercantilism and its impacts in the modern world. The legacy of mercantilism can still be seen in the modern world. Many of the economic policies and practices that were developed during this period continue to shape global trade and commerce. One of the key legacies of mercantilism is the emphasis on exports over imports. This has led to the growth of international trade and the development of global supply chains. However, it has also led to trade imbalances and the exploitation of developing countries. Another legacy of mercantilism is the role of government in the economy. Mercantilism emphasized the importance of government intervention in the economy through policies such as tariffs and subsidies. This has continued to be a controversial issue in modern times, with debates over the role of government in regulating trade and commerce. Despite its negative consequences, mercantilism played a key role in the development of European economies and society. It led to the growth of industries, the expansion of trade, and the accumulation of wealth. It also paved the way for the rise of capitalism and the modern economy. In conclusion, the age of mercantilism was a period of significant economic and social change in Europe. It led to the development of new industries, the expansion of trade, and the accumulation of wealth. However, it also had negative consequences, such as the exploitation of colonies and the suppression of free trade. The legacy of mercantilism continues to shape global trade and commerce, and its impact can still be seen in the modern world.